Get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, February 7th of 2023, and we are convening a session of the Tax Review Board. My name is Melissa Andre, and I am here to inform you that to please be aware that this is a public hearing and it is being recorded. Because the meeting is public, participants and viewers have no expectation of privacy, and by continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. At this time, I have the majority of my board, Board Chair Nancy Kamerdiener, members Dominique Ward, Paula Weiss, and George Matthews. I do believe that Ryan Boyle will be on his way, so hopefully we'll get him as well. I'm going to go in the room to put case number 2, and Nancy, please take it away while I put case number 2 in the room.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As has been indicated, this is the Tax Review Board hearing for February 7th, 2023. The first item we're going to address today is actually item number 2 on our agenda with Hazel Patterson. Last 4 digits, the docket 9931. The property address is 6061 Frankford Avenue. We'll proceed with that as soon as the petitioner is in the room.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Nancy, can you read the address again?
The address?
Yeah. Identify the case again.
Oh, I had, but okay. It's docket ending in 9931 for Hazel Patterson. Property address is 6061 Frankford Avenue.
Yes. They're in the room, Nancy.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Please identify yourselves for the record.
I am Hazel Patterson, and this is my husband.
Well, he needs to identify himself directly.
James Patterson.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Who has this matter for the city?
Yim Peng representing the city.
Do you have anyone with you who needs to be introduced?
Yeah, Miss Chanel Smith and Mr. Andrew J. Dabowski.
Okay, if they would introduce themselves by name, and then they'll be sworn.
Chanel Smith, Chanel Smith, a witness for the city, for the Water Revenue Bureau.
How you doing? Andrew J. Dabowski, Assistant Manager, Philadelphia Water Department Meter Division.
Mr. Dabowski, can you show your camera or turn your camera on? Since you're going to be tested. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you. This is for both of you. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes.
Oh. Now, that's for the the two city people. Did you
yes,
both?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Does the city have any opening comments?
Yeah, the instant case is about a back bill covering a period of 0 usage. So the back bill of the instant case covers only water petitioners actually, the water usage petitioner actually incurred on this property and that were previously unbilled.
Mr. Did we get the numbers first?
Okay, yeah, I thought that would be where they would start, but they didn't. Okay, so if we could have the numbers for the record, please.
Yes, the petitioner's questioning periods July 28, 2021 through August 27, 2021. The principal amount is $3,363.67. 0 penalties, 0 liens, bringing the total dispute amount to $3,363.67.
Okay, thank you very much. Now back to Mr. Peng.
Mm-hmm. So I was what was that? Okay, yeah. I would city just like to remind the board, please the board, that as a property owner, the petitioner is responsible for the water debts or water bills, regardless when they're billed. And and yeah, that's it.
Okay, let's turn to the petitioner. Please tell us why you're here and what it is that you want to inform the board about.
You talking to us?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm here because I feel like this bill is unfair. It was thrown at me, not explained. I pay my bill every month and I pay it on time. They're saying I owe $3,000 and something, which I don't believe that to be true because I have bank statements showing that I made payments. And I don't know how this happened.
When you got your bill, did you look at what the information was on the bill to know what was being charged in each and every month? Or did you only go by the total? I
go by the total. Okay. When I get my bills, I look at what's in that box where they say this is what's due.
Okay. Did you ever have a question raised, or did you ever look at what was happening in terms of whether there were any times when there was a problem with your water meter? Did you look at your water meter along the way to know if it was moving the numbers forward or anything like that?
No, ma'am. I don't know how to actually read the meter, the water meter. I don't even, know how to go down there and even fumble with that. I look at what my bill says and I pay that.
But do you look at the detail of the bill to see how it's
No, because I don't even understand that. But one thing I want to say to you is that one day we had got a letter stating that the water people need to get in there and upgrade the meter box. And when I called them back and allowed them to come in, the guy that came in to do the service, he said to us, he said that, thank you for letting us in. He said, because in the neighborhood, they're upgrading the box so that they wouldn't have to come in our home to read the meter box. And I feel like if I went that long without them getting a reading, you understand what I'm saying? They should have been letting me know that their box were faulty. Then they came back, and they came back at a later time and said, we need to switch the box out. It's showing that and I'm like, okay, it's their fault. I don't know to go down there to read a box. Educate me on what to do so that I can make sure that I'm paying the right amount. I look in that box that says, this is what's due. That's what I pay. I have other bills.
When you're saying you look at that box, you mean the box on the bill?
Yes, the box, the little ticket down the bottom that you tear off and you send. Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the board? No? Okay, then let's. You have something else to add before we turn to the city? Go ahead.
Yes, because I want to say that I went and got bank statements of 2019, because that's what was told me. This whole year that I didn't pay, if I only paid the service, whatever they're saying that was in the box or whatnot, then they need to deduct, count us in and deduct from there. Because I don't think it's fair that I have to be charged or paid double of what I done already paid. 2019, 20, I have statements, and 21. Sometime I did call like over the phone, so the ones that's highlighted throughout some of these pages are what I paid to the water company.
The water department, the water revenue bureau. The Water Revenue Bureau will be able to show us what you've gotten credit for. You'll be able to see your payments.
Okay.
We should move over, Nancy.
Okay.
From the city.
Okay, let's hear from the city.
So I have a couple questions for the petitioner. Are you the owner of the property? Just for the record.
Yes. James and I are the owner of the property. Yes.
Okay. What kind of property are you guys at this address? 6061 Frankfort Avenue. What sort of property is this?
It's a row home. It's where we live.
A single family?
Yes.
Okay. So there's only one unit in the property? Okay.
Yes.
So did you live in this property from like, when did you first live in this property?
We bought the property in 2004.
So you guys live in ever since?
Yes.
Okay. So this, at no point is this a rental property, is it?
No, it's not.
And at no point is this property vacant?
No, this property is not vacant.
Okay. So would it be fair to say between the July 18th, 2019 to August 17th, 2021, only you and James Patterson living in this property?
Yes.
Okay. So who is handling the water bills?
I'm sorry. I do.
You do?
Yes.
So you say you only read the total amount on the water bills, right?
Yes.
So you didn't see during the water bills from like approximately July 2019 to August 2021, where it says like they billed for 0 usages?
No.
Okay. Okay. But you do use waters in this property, I assume?
Yes, I do. I live here. I got to take a bath.
Okay, these are questions may sound silly, but it's for the record. Did you contact Philadelphia Water Department after you noticed your monthly water usage is 0 at all?
When I went to, because I usually pay my bill up at Cotman Avenue, up there, Cotman and Castor, up there somewhere in that plaza. When I went to go pay the bill there, I paid the bill, and not really, because I usually go there and pay the bill.
So you never informed the Water Revenue Bureau or Water Department that certain periods of your water usages are showing on the system as showing on the bills as 0?
No, because I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't even know how to read the thing.
Okay.
Like I said, I look in the bottom box where you tear off the ticket and you write your check and you put it in an envelope and you send it off. Or most of the time I take that ticket to Cotman and I pay it. And when they shut down, I get on the phone and I pay it.
So did you ever had a did you ever had a plumber looking at your properties?
No.
So did you ever contact the Philadelphia Water Departments to have your meter tested?
No.
So let me establish a survey of your property. So how many bathrooms are in your property?
1.
And there's a toilet and a faucet?
There's a faucet, there's a toilet, there's a tub, there's a sink, and there's a toilet and a shower.
Okay. That's the only one of each in the entire property?
Yes.
Okay. There's a kitchen, right? Only
yes.
One or more than one?
One kitchen.
Okay, so there's is there a faucet in the kitchen, I assume?
Yes.
Just one?
Yes.
And how about dishwasher?
Yes, we have a dishwasher, but I rarely even run it.
Okay, so do you guys have like a washing machine, laundry machines in the property?
Yes.
It's also just one, I assume.
Yes, just one, and I wash once a week.
Is there any other water fixture that would use water in your property?
No, nothing. Nope.
Okay.
We have outside faucets, which is where you wash the ground at, but that never hardly gets turned on.
Okay, so all right, that's all the question I have for the petitioner. I'd like to ask some question with Mr. Andrew Dabowski.
Please proceed.
Hey, before you do that, could we get a brief explanation of how this bill was arrived at? I know that what was read into the record was that this bill occurred over a 1-month period, but in looking at the account history provided, I'm wondering if this is not a 24-month bill.
Yes, I'm not sure.
Could we get some explanation of exactly what this bill covers before we go into other more detailed explanations?
Okay. Ms. Smith, can you elaborate on the periods of this bill covered?
Okay, so the bill covered a zero usage period from July 19, 2019 through July 20th, 2021. And in our system, it comes up as a 1-month cycle because the zero usages were not estimated, they were actual. So the system read it as a reading or a usage total for a 1-month period. So that's why, so in our system, it's from July to August, but it does cover a zero usage period from July of 2019 through July of 2021.
So Ms. Patterson, did you notice at all starting in July of, I guess, August of 2019, that the amount of your monthly bill went down?
No, I didn't notice it. I didn't really pay it no mind.
Okay, because what the city is saying is that after July of 2019, while they continued to bill you for service charge and stormwater, there was no usage being, not being registered by the meter being sent to the city's automatic meter reading system. And so it took them until August of 2021 to become alerted to the fact that no usage was being billed to you. That's why I'm asking you whether you noticed if your bill went down.
Really didn't.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right, Mr. Pegg.
Okay, so I'd like to turn to Mr. Dybowski. And let me get. Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Sure, Andrew J. Dybowski.
Where do you work?
Philadelphia Water Department, Meter Division.
How long have you been working at Philadelphia Water Department?
Roughly 28.5 years.
What were the positions you held there?
I've pretty much done everything related to metering, installation of residential, commercial, testing, repair. Was a supervisor, and now I'm an assistant manager.
So your current job title is assistant manager?
At the present, yes.
Okay. What are your responsibilities in this position?
I oversee the supervisors who are in charge of the daily, day-to-day operation of the installation, repair, removal of water meters throughout the city.
So what were your responsibility as when you were a supervisor?
I was more hands-on with direct communication, supervising those who were actually physically on the street, doing the installation, repair, etc.
So what are the responsibility of the representatives you supervise?
At the present, I oversee the supervisors who are responsible for the service workers on the street. I'm the manager's manager, you want to call.
So when you were a supervisor, what were the responsibility of the street technicians?
Oh, okay. We had to make sure that they were, completing the work assignments in a timely fashion, that everything that they were supposed to accomplish in the course of the day was done. We were responsible for checking and making sure that everything they'd done was error-free.
Okay. So in your previous roles, did you ever install water meter assemblies?
Yes.
So how often did you install water assemblies? Meter assemblies, sorry.
Probably on a daily basis for 20 years, 22 years.
So did you receive any training at your jobs at PWD?
Yes, it was all on job training with occasional updates and things like that as technology changed. It's all trained within the unit here.
Did your training include information about PWD's policies and procedures relating to installation and repair of water meters?
Yes.
Does the water department have regular policies and procedures about what to do when you install or change a meter?
Yes, we do.
Okay, does water department have regular policies and procedures about making written records when a technician or other representative install or service a meter assembly?
Yes, we do.
Could you elaborate on that policy or procedure?
Sure. Everything we do is in duplicate. We have an actual handwritten work order that we fill the information in block by block on site in front of the water meter. And we also duplicate that information into a tablet we held that downloads in real time to the city's billing system.
So there's a written records and electronic records.
Correct.
Okay. Does the water department have regular policies and procedures about making photographic records when technician or representative is installing or service meters?
Yes, we do. We have to take a picture upon arrival, what we see on site, the water meter itself displaying the reading. And if an installation occurs, to take a picture of what was installed, indicating the meter number itself, as well as the reading that would begin at the installation of the new meter.
So does the water department have a system to keep track of these written and photographic meter work records?
Yes, we do.
What is that system?
Well, the written work order is compared the following day against what downloads digitally to make sure everything jives correctly. After that, the written work orders are scanned and put into a file that can be accessed later on. And anything that downloads digitally to the tablet can always be pulled up in the future based on the account number, date of installation, etc.
So this is also a both paper and electronic system.
Correct.
So how often do you use this system in the course of your work as a supervisor and system manager?
Oh, all day long. It stays open as one of the two operating systems we use on a daily basis.
So at this juncture, I would like to mark the completed work, Slinky completed work and the MROC card as City Exhibit 1. I will show them with share screen. All right, give me a second. City, okay, here. Okay.
Oh, what happened? What happened?
Oh. Yeah, I'm sharing a screen.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to the, yeah, here. Okay. So this one, and that's the photo. We'll do it later. And this is the MROC card. So Ms. Dybelski, do you recognize these documents?
Yes, I do.
So what are they?
That written document is what we call an MROC card, a meter replacement order card. That is the handwritten document that's filled in with the information that is found in the property, as well as the information that is installed in the property. It's the installation and removal card, indicating all the vital, important information needed.
What about the complete this?
This is the digital download from, as I mentioned, where we have the electronic and the paper form. This one at the top is the digital download from that work order at 6061 Frankfurt Avenue.
Okay. So does the water department make and keep these two records as part of the regularly conducted business?
Absolutely, yes.
Based on Ms. Dybelski's testimony, I move City Exhibit 1 into evidence. And did water department representative go out to property located at 6061 Frankfurt Avenue on or about August 17, 2021?
Yes, I did.
How do you know that?
Well, we have the digital footprint up there at the top. We have the handwritten card, and we also can view it in another system we have that shows a history of work orders complete.
Okay. Why did the technician go to that property that day?
Well, I see that we had a work order created by our intake team, one of our officers on 8/10 to come out and service the meter. So we went out there on 8/17, and at that point we discovered that it was at that point the old style automatic reader, the AMR meter, and it was upgraded at that point to the AMI, the new state-of-the-art smart meters that we're installing throughout the city now.
Okay. For the record, can you explain to the board what is a meter assembly?
Meter assembly is a two-part system. You have the brass meter itself, which has the movable parts, and as water runs through it, it magnetically drives the register, which is basically the odometer, speedometer on top, which registers the usage. And as part of that secondary unit, it has the sending unit that sends the read monthly to the reader van when it rides by.
So the meter records the water usage, and the ERD registers and transmits the usage. Is that correct? So can you explain what is exactly ERD stands for?
It's going to be either encoded radio transmitter or electronic radio transmitter. Either one's fine.
Can you explain the subcomponents of ERD?
The ERD has two parts. Like I said, it has the sending unit, has the battery in it, and it's also wired to the register itself that spins when water runs through the meter. So what you have on a register should be sent out on by the ERD. It's a two-part system, hermetically sealed from the manufacturers.
So how do meter and ERD interact?
Electronically.
Okay. So the meter get the readings, transmit to the register, and register get the readings to the transmitter, and transmit to the water department. Is that correct?
That's correct, right.
Okay. So did other than upgrading the meter, did they do anything? The technicians do anything on that day at the property?
No, other than upgrade the meter, that was it.
Okay. Did they take a photograph of the found meter that reading when they read the register?
Yes, they did.
Let me see. Here's photos. Yeah. Here's 2 pages to photos. Now I'll mark these as the photos as City Exhibit 2. And so Mr. Dybelski, are these photos the photos the technicians took that day?
Correct. Yes, they are.
Okay. So is the meter in the photo shows the number that the MROC corresponds with the numbers on the MROC card?
Yes, in the picture below with the black and white numbers.
Okay. Based on Ms. Dybelski's testimony, I would move the City Exhibit 2, the photos into the evidence, and that will be end of Ms. Dybelski's testimony. And now I would like to ask a couple questions. Was Ms. Smith? I'll stop sharing the screen a second. Let's see. Wait a second. Okay. Stop sharing. Okay. All right. So, Ms. Smith, have you had an opportunity to review petitioner's account?
Yes.
What type of property is this property?
Residential.
Who is the owner of the property?
Hazel and James Patterson.
So both of them are owners of the property, I'm assuming? Hazel and James Patterson?
Yes.
Okay. So they are the petitioners of this case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So when did the petitioners purchase the incident property?
May 25th, 2004.
How do you know this information?
Per Philodox.
Okay. Did the petitioners ever apply for this continuous permit?
No.
Did they ever apply for a vacant property license?
No.
So the technician went out to this property on August 17th, 2021, as Ms. Dybelski has pointed out. Did this visit result in any billing changes or adjustments?
Yes.
So was there after the visit, was there a back bill or just registered on the system?
Yes.
How much was this back bill?
It was let me give you the exact amount.
Oh, you talking about me?
Yeah.
No, he's talking to
No,
me.
it's the city
Oh.
witness is still testifying.
All right.
The back amount was $3,363.67.
Okay. So is this amount calculated from the 467 CCF CCF readings, advanced readings on
Yes.
August 17th? Yeah. So was the back bill, how many months does the back bill cover?
24 months.
So the back bill only covers rebuilds the zero water usages of these months, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I interrupt a minute, Ms. Smith. Does that $3,000, that 3,363, is that does that take into account and give the petitioners credit for all the payments they made during those 24 months? That's the net, not the gross?
That is strictly just the net amount for that one bill. That's not the account balance. That's just for that one back bill.
Thank you. That was my question.
Was petitioner ever informed of her their property's zero usages by WRB representatives?
Yes, 3 times.
Okay. So what is average monthly water usage for a person?
Wait. They were informed of the zero usage, Ms. Smith?
Yes.
When was that? And how?
Through contact phone. I believe the water customer called to ask about the bill or something like that, and the service rep informed them that they had zero usage, 3 occasions. The first was April 12th, 2021. The second was August 3rd, 2021. And the third was August 10th, 2021.
If it's helpful, I can share screen, show you at least one of the customer interaction notes basis, which I submitted via a city production.
I'm fine with the testimony.
Okay. So Ms. Smith, what's the approximately like how much water would a person use a person use per month?
Average 4 cubic feet per month.
Okay. So what was the average water usage according to the back bill periods?
19 cubic feet per month.
Say
Okay.
that again, please.
19 cubic feet per month.
Thank you.
Is the average monthly usage of the periods that the back bill covers consistent in characteristic with petitioner's water usage after the meter shop visits of August 17th, 2021?
Yes.
And
well, what would you qualify as being consistent? What were the numbers?
The lowest being 4 and the highest being 16.
Okay, thank you.
so after the meter shop visits of August 17th, 2017, the property started billing actual usages that's not zeros, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's all my questions.
I have a question. Can we see the billing statement and the payment history so that way we can avoid all this? Just have a look at it and see what happened there.
I can show the account payment history. Let's see.
And Ms. Smith, perhaps while Mr. Pang is pulling it up, you could tell us what the current account balance is.
It is currently $3,682.97.
Thank you.
On balance.
300. Now it's saying 300 on top of it.
Okay. I apologize. Actually, Ms. Smith, can you show the board the account balance? I couldn't find it at the moment. The share the screen.
The account transaction history.
Yeah.
In the recent months since the
Since
bill has been revised.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
So this was the back bill. This was the balance prior. And since the bills have been in the 100s.
Can you go back to 2019? That
Okay.
July.
So the bills were in the 100s even prior. Then it started going down to 0. Then, sporadic high usage. Back down, then the back bill, and then high again.
So those lower bills that are shown there are during the time period when the meter wasn't transmitting the information back to the Water Revenue Bureau to process. Is that correct?
Correct.
Can I ask a question? Ms. Smith, are these lower bills represents stormwater and service fees only?
Yes. 0 usage here, just stormwater, water service, and service fees.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You still need to see the screen?
Yes, you
Okay.
can stop sharing.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else from the petitioner or the city?
I want to know,
Can you get a little closer to the mic, please? It's near the.
I would like to know, are they giving us credit for what we paid, or how is this going to be done?
The balance that we shared includes all the payments that you've made. If you want me to share the screen again, I can show you that they've been applied.
Well,
Would you like me to share the screen?
No, what I'd like to know, okay, if the meter was messed up and we never knew, but we was paying what we see on that paper, and they came and put the meter in, and we still didn't know nothing about the other thing, but we still was paying, why are we being held accountable of a broken meters that was messed up and they put new meters in?
No one is saying the meter was broken. What they're saying is that the meter was not sending the electronic transmission to the Water Revenue Bureau, but the meter itself was functioning.
Okay.
And ultimately you were utilizing the water at that time.
Correct. And you were
right, so we was doing it, but the meter.
And if you notice when Mr. Peng and when the city shared their screen, your bills did drop from well over $100 to $28. And what that showed was the city stopped billing for the water you were using. They were only billing for the service charge. That was a significant drop in your monthly billing for over 2 years. And now the city has been able to look at the meter and get an actual reading, and they're billing you for all of that water usage over the 2-year period of time.
Yep. And the city has already shared that the rate that they adjusted you at looks analogous to what your current usage is after they were able to update the ERT. We got that testimony today as well. So.
And they did show your payments were being used and credited.
Towards the stormwater.
You want to go back now?
I was just going to ask if the board was ready to go back and discuss a decision.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
I think the city, there was a hand up there. Did the city want to add something before we step aside?
Yeah, I just want to make a final statement. The city believes the petitioner is responsible for their water bills, no matter when the bill was billed, and therefore the city respectfully requests the board to deny the petition.
All right, if everybody can just hold tight, unless anybody else has anything else to say, the board is going to go into a virtual room, make a determination, and come back. Okay?
like we were trying to get, my thing is, you know. They're trying to get out of paying their bills. I pay my bills all the time. It's just a simple thing.
We didn't see what.
But still, that was faulty on them.
But the point is,
okay, all right, whatever. I'm not going to argue.
We have to start really looking, like even if it, say what the total is on that box, we still have to look around.
No, I don't. Just, I'm going to pay what they, you know, now I'll pay attention, but still, come on now. Nobody trying to get over on nothing. I pay my bills there all the time. They saw that it was zero balance, then what they should have did, they should have came back out. I would have let them back in. I don't know how to change no box.
So we put those in there.
No, the 20.
Let's say May the 4th.
Something like that.
2004.
This was kind of low too, so that's why some comment my mouth.
Is everyone back?
I think so.
Okay, the board's reached a decision. It's our decision to deny the petition, but we're going to ask that, is there a problem, Melissa? Is there a problem?
Nancy, everyone is back. Can anybody hear me? No?
Yeah, yes.
We hear you.
Yes.
I had already started, and then I asked if there was a problem because
I couldn't hear. I apologize. Go ahead, Nancy.
Okay. The board's decision is to deny the petition, but we're going to ask that in terms of payment, that payment arrangements be made by the city so that the payments can be made over time. You'll get a letter from us that spells out our decision. Both sides do have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 30 days of the date of our letter. I'm going to assume for the moment that neither side's going to choose to appeal. And if that proves to be the case, then that's when the time period would begin for you to enter into payment arrangements and discuss with the city what the terms of the payment would be. Are there any questions?
Nancy, we are giving them 60 days, right?
I'm sorry, what was that, George?
We are giving them 60 days to make payment arrangements, right?
After the time period for appeal ends and you begin to look at the payment arrangements, we would ask that those payment arrangements be entered into within 60 days and that they be worked out between the petitioner and the city to have a payment that is possible for them to maintain.
Paula Weiss, I concur.
George Matthews, I concur.
Dominique, are you there? Nancy Camerdiner, I concur. That gives us a quorum of the board. I'm not sure what happened to Dominique while we were going through.
You're on mute, Dominique.
Maybe she didn't get back in when we came back. From Dominique, she sent us a note saying that she concurred.
Yeah.
So we have a concurrence of the board. We thank you very much for coming in today. You'll get the letter from us within the next week or two, and that begins the 30-day period for any appeals to the Court of Common Pleas. Absent any appeal, then you would be working with the city to enter into appropriate payment arrangements. Thank you very much for coming in today. I believe case number 5 is our next one to come up.
Yep.
And that's for James Lewis. Last 4 digits of the docket 0091, property address 661 North 37th Street.
Yes, I'm here.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Please identify yourself for the record.
Yes, James M. Lewis.
Okay. I'm going to ask, there's a microphone there that you are as close to that as you can so we can all hear you. And if you're comfortable without your mask, please take it off. If you're not comfortable, that's okay too. We don't want to restrict if you're not comfortable.
James M. Lewis.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes.
Thank you. Who has this matter for the city?
Yim Peng represent the city.
Okay. And do you have anyone with you who will be providing information, numbers, and that kind of thing?
Ms. Chanel Smith.
Okay, and she was sworn earlier, so if we could get those numbers for the record, please.
Yes, the water customer is disputing June 2003 through May 12th, 2022 for the 6/7/2016 balance transfer. The principal amount is $7,414.14. The penalty amount is $3,797.74. The lien amount is $294.35, bringing the total disputed amount to $11,506.23.
And that time period again was June 2003
through May 12th, 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any opening comments from the city?
Yeah, this case, like we discussed, is about balance transfer from previous owner of the property and stormwater and service fees. Petitioner is responsible for the balance transfer because the petitioner has responsible for all the water bills generated, no matter if he has a hand in making them or not. And also in this case, the underlying balance transfer were almost entirely composed of previous owners' stormwater and service fees. So the board really have no jurisdiction to adjudicate most of the amount in dispute here.
Okay.
Well, that completely negates the argument you just made that the petitioner is responsible for the barter, regardless of whether they incurred it or not, and then trying to limit our jurisdiction.
No, there's
so how do you?
There's a 4 month of there's a 4 month. I think on top of my head, there's a 4 month of actual usage from one of the previous owners. Total of approximately 59 CCF, and everything else is stormwater use in service.
So are you saying that we can only adjudicate the 4 months, or
yes.
What exactly are you saying we can actually address?
The 4 month composed of 59 CCF.
And the remainder of the bill, we don't have jurisdiction is what you're arguing.
Yes.
Because it's stormwater and service?
And service fee, yeah.
Let's hear from the petitioner.
Yes, thank you. I was writing a note to myself and was expecting something more. Yes, please tell us why you're here and what it is you're looking for from this board. And again, try to be conscious of where the mic is so that we can hear what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I'm just down here trying to dispute the penalties. Whatever the remaining balance of the principal that I owe from the stormwater and usage, I'm willing to pay. But the penalties, and I know you can't. I know the liens have to stay. I'm just here to dispute these penalties, which is $3,794.74. Since he said that we couldn't go back and dispute anything from 2003 to 2022.
Can you tell us a little bit about this property and how it was used?
Well, it used to be a commercial mixed use building. Right now is
a commercial what?
mixed use building.
Oh.
Yeah, but right now it's registered as a single family home. I'm trying to move back in there, and I need to get this water bill down to, you know, start fixing the property up. But, you know, the penalties that I see on here, the substantial amount, I don't think I should be responsible for paying you know, the amount that you guys saying that I owe. Now, I understand, you know, when there's no uses in the property and the water's not being used, I understand it's a fee. I'm willing to pay all them fees, but I'm not, you know, I'm trying to dispute the penalties and interest that was charged.
Well, Mr. Lewis,
Yeah.
when did you buy this property?
In 2016.
In 2016, and how much did you pay for it?
I don't even remember. I mean, it was kind of gifted to me, so it wasn't like a big transaction. They don't have anything to do with this. What I'm trying to dispute is the penalties. It's not anything to do when I purchased the property or how much did I pay for it.
Have you made payments since you purchased the property?
I was paying initially the basic payments. It has been no water on in this property.
I understand.
So what I'm saying, I've been paying, but before I was paying and the actual fees, and then there still was charging me penalties. Like I have received another bill and I pay the storm water and the usage. And then every time I look around, they charge me $59 more when they're not supposed to be charging me because I was scheduled for a hearing. The same thing was happening before. So I was paying the actual amount the city was charging me because there was no water being ran. But on top of that, they was charging me penalties on top of that. So I stopped paying it. You know,
the reason you were getting the penalties was because you weren't paying.
No, what I'm saying, I was paying the actual usage as far as the money that was sent to me per month. I think it was like $31.08 or $30, whatever, $31.
You probably had a stormwater charge.
Yeah, that's all I was paying because there was no water. It hasn't been no water on this property since I purchased the property. It hasn't been any water usage on this property. So I was paying the actual amount because at the time I didn't know I had to pay the back amount. I was paying the actual amount. So they're charging me the service charge and the storm water charge. I was paying that, but I didn't know I had to pay the back balance. And then I was paying that fee, and then it kept going up. Almost like, you know, if you owe $1,000 and you pay $30, it should be $970. My bill went from $1,000 and I paid $31. Now it's $1,070. Then I paid.
When did you start disputing? When did you file your petition for this?
I don't even remember. It's probably this was about 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay, so 4 or 5 months ago is when you filed the petition to challenge this. You said that you were still getting billed even though it was that issue.
Yep.
When were you getting those bills? Was that after you filed this 4 or 5 months ago?
No, I received the bill for this one about 6 months ago.
Okay, thank you.
And then I filed a complaint, and then they told me I had to wait. I was down here, I don't know, a few months back, but they told me they would take off the penalty and interest, and then I seen the bill again. I tried to make an agreement with the city to pay it down, but the city wouldn't make an agreement with me at the time because they told me that I would have to get you guys back to dispute the penalty and interest that I thought that you guys took off.
When you purchased the property in 2016, did you know that there was a back water bill on the record? Did you look into anything at all about those back charges?
No, I didn't look at anything, no. And then later on as time when I received the bill, you know, I seen the bill, but it kept coming in, and I was only under the impression that I had to pay the actual storm water and the usage. But I kept seeing like the back money, you know, as far as the money. So then I went down to the city one time and they told me that, you know, I might be liable. And I'm like, I'm liable for somebody else's, waters.
Did you know anything at all about the prior owner and whether or not the prior owner used water?
Yeah, they use water. I mean, of course they use water, but that's irrelevant for my case.
But did you?
No, what I'm trying to explain to you is that you asking me questions that happened a long time ago. I have no idea what happened a long time ago. So I'm just trying to figure out dispute for these penalties. I'm willing to pay whatever principal that I owe. Whatever I owe, I'm willing to make an arrangement to pay that. I'm trying to dispute any penalties and interest that's left on what I owe. And then I'll make an agreement with the city to pay this balance off. It's real simple.
Okay, can we hear from the city regarding his payment history on the property for the stormwater or anything like that?
Ms. Smith? You're still muted.
She's muted.
Okay, so looking at his account history, I see that a penalty waiver of $6,804.39 was just applied on August 30th, 2022. And then a 15-year write-off in the amount of $1,210.74 for any principals, and I'm assuming penalties and liens applied prior to December of 2007. So those penalties have actually been waived already.
So why are they still showing up on my bill?
Well, this was just for June 2003 to February 22, 2022.
And when exactly was that applied?
August.
Yeah, I was down here for one time and they said they would take all the penalties and interest off, and I keep saying the penalties that's on my account. So what I'm saying is that you're telling me that they took off. I don't even know. I mean, I was never told that when I was down here. You can go back and look at the interview that I took on the Zoom, the amount that you told me. But what I'm saying is that it's still showing a penalty of $3,797. That's the only thing I'm disputing. I'm not disputing anything else.
Okay, Mr. Peng from the city has his hand up. I think he might have something to add on this.
I just want to clarify, the 15-year write-off probably write off all the previous owners' actual usages from 2007. It's basically from 2007, showing on the system.
Yes,
it's probably being written off by the 15-year write-off. So now this entire account is stormwater and service.
And penalties.
Yeah, stormwater service and penalty for all the user accounts related to this property.
Okay, so listen, like I said before, I'm willing to pay any principal that I owe. I'm just here disputing the penalty. That's it. Nothing else.
We heard you. Ms. Smith, Could you tell us the payment history?
I told you.
Since 2016?
The radiologist had actually.
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, because he had no idea
what's
going on before.
Somebody.
So when he looked at.
Somebody needs to mute themselves.
I did.
So from 2016, he would pay frequently, but he would pay what the monthly bill, the monthly bill was, but not whatever the penalty was. The penalties were always more than his monthly bills.
He being the previous owner?
Well, so from 2016, so I'm assuming this is the petitioner, James Mark Lewis. Every month his bill ranged from, I'm gonna say $27 to $29, but his penalties ranged between $52, $53. He would only pay the bill amount.
Principal. And were any of his payments prorated to pay penalties as well as some of the principal, or did it all go to principal?
They all went to principal.
Okay, thank you.
And then there were some months of bills and penalties accruing with no payments, and liens accruing with no payments.
Thank you. Nancy, I think, are we ready to go back?
Okay. We'll be back with you in just a few moments.
Everybody could just hold on. I have to reset the room.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone is back, Nancy.
Okay, good, thank you. The board's reached a decision. It's our decision to waive half of the penalty contingent upon you entering into a payment agreement and completing the payment agreement. Basically, what will happen, you'll get a letter from us that spells out our decision. Those sides do have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 30 days of that letter. I'm going to assume for a moment that neither side is going to choose to appeal. And if that becomes the case, then you would have 30 days to enter into the payment arrangements, and then you would have to maintain them and complete that payment arrangement in order to have not have a penalty come back onto the amount that's still due and owing. You'll get a letter from us that spells out our decision. Those sides do have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 30 days of the date of our letter. I'm going to assume for the moment that neither side's going to choose to appeal. And if that becomes the case, then the stipulations that I was just raising would come into effect, where half the penalty would be waived, and you would need to work with the city to enter into appropriate payment arrangements. Any questions?
No, I agree.
Okay, very good. Do we have anything to add from any of the board members in addition to concurring? Excuse me.
I concur.
George Matthews, I concur.
Dominic Board concurs.
And Nancy Kamerdiner, I concur. Thank you very much for coming in today. And we look forward to learning that this matter has been resolved.
Thank you.
Excuse me. The next item is number 4.
Demps, yes.
Come on, ma'am.
Okay, item number 4, Bertha Demps. Last 4 digits of the docket 0079. Property address is 5849 Theodore Street, 2nd floor. Excuse me.
I have to keep my mask on there.
When you get settled there, please identify yourself for the record.
My name is Bertha Demps.
Okay, I'm going to give you a moment so that you can get settled there. Excuse me. And I would let you know that there's a microphone that's ahead of you. And we ask that you sit as close to that as you can in order to be heard. If you're comfortable without your mask, then please take it off, because then we'll be sure to hear you. And we thank you for that. I think I did ask for your name, but would you again identify yourself for the record?
My name is Bertha Demps.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes, I do.
I can barely hear what you said.
Yes, I do.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Who has this matter for the city?
Yim Peng for the city.
And do you have someone with you?
Yeah, Miss Chanel Smith.
Okay, she was sworn earlier. Please read the numbers for the record.
Okay, the water customer is disputing the December 12, 2019 balance transfer. Their principal amount is $1,132.83. 0 penalties, 0 liens, bringing the total disputed amount to $1,132.83.
Okay, thank you. Does the city have any opening comments before we turn to the petitioner?
If it pleases the board, the city would like to inform the board that this matter is mostly dealing with landlord's responsibility to tenants' water bills. The water bills the tenant didn't pay and transfer to the landlord. And the city's position is the landlord absolutely have that duty to pay tenants' water usage in landlord's property, because landlord is the owner of the property.
Right, okay. Let's hear from the petitioner, please. And again, if you'd stay as close to the mic as you can.
I'm a little confused because I was down here several months ago because a tenant had moved out. And when I called to put the water in my name, to have the water turned on in my name so that I could do renovations, they told me the water bill was $8,000, better than $8,000. So I went down to the water company because I didn't understand what was going on. And the water company printed out a bill dated, the day it was created was the day I went there, January the 24th, 22. And the total amount of the bill was $8,050.88. That's the reason I thought I was down here.
All right, hang on just a minute. Ms. Smith, what's the current account balance?
$4,352.88. What happened was the account was adjusted, I'm believing based on the master's hearing. She was rebilled from August 14/21 to January 18/22, which credited her account $4,379.90. So that's why her current balance is cut in half.
Could you repeat that dollar amount again for?
The current balance, or with
the dollar amount that was adjusted?
The credit amount was $4,379.90.
Okay, thank you.
But I was told if I disagreed and I wanted to appeal it, to fill out the paper and send it in. And I filled out the paper and I sent it in because from the time this bill started occurring, I never, ever got one notice from the water company.
Did you ever look into this since you were the property owner? Did you not check to make sure that bills were being paid or talk to the tenant about it or anything at all?
I'm the property owner and I have 4 apartments in that building, and everybody had their water bill in their name because on the lease, it said that tenants would pay all their utility bills. So everybody was paying, and I was not notified that this young lady was not paying her water bill until I sent her a notice to move. And when she moved and I went in there, I found the water running, and I was so upset. When I called the water company, they said it wasn't in her name and it was coming back to me. And I said, but you never notified me of anything.
Did anyone ever tell you that as the property owner, you were responsible even if it was in that other customer's name?
From my understanding and my dealing with tenants, it's in the lease, and they had always paid their water bill if it was in their name. And I would get a copy, but I never thought about anything why I never got a copy from this bill. I never received one word until I went down there to the water company and said, I need to have renovations on my apartment. The tenant has moved and I need it in my name. And that's when she said, you need to call the meter people. And I asked her why, and she said, and then I said, that can't be true. She went and printed up a bill. I said, I have never, ever gotten anything from this person, from the water company. The water company, I don't know why, they just never sent me anything, and they can't even prove that they did.
But any other questions from the board?
I do. I have questions. How could the water company allow Bill to get up to $8,000, put penalties and liens against the house, and never ever told me anything? I was never notified of this.
We heard you on that.
So why don't we hear from the city then? I would specifically be interested in knowing where the bills were going and whose name they were in for the period of time. So maybe
okay. Let's turn to the city then.
Ms. Demps, I got some questions just to confirm the situation with you. So you are the owner of the property, right?
Yes, I am.
So your property have like 4 units. So you said you have 4 units?
Yes.
So it's a multi-family property?
It's a duplex. I have 2 duplexes, and each one of them have 2 apartments. That's how I get the 4.
Okay. So do you have a rental license?
What?
Do you have a rental license? Do you apply the rental license with the city?
Of course, yes.
What's the issue? Do you know the date of issuance for the rental license?
You have information that she doesn't have a rental license?
I do. That's what I want.
No, she's asking the city.
I'm asking.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can skip that question. It's not. Let's go for next.
If you have something that's counter to what she's telling us, fine. Otherwise, we don't.
Yes, I have the rental license. It's license code 3202. License.
Okay. Can you just tell us if it's expired or not?
No, it hadn't expired.
Okay. So who I'm just want to confirm who is, so you said the tenants are handling the water and sewer bills themselves. So you did not get any water bill. So you from your understanding, is the city, you understand that the city did not send you the water bills, or you did not get the water bills because your tenants get the water bills?
Right. The tenant, the water company basically sends me the water bill of some of the tenants. And for some reason, I didn't even pay attention that I had not gotten any bills from this tenant. I have never, nor can the water company produce a bill they sent me for this $8,000 bill. Never. And when I went down there, I was shocked to see how many penalties, how many liens you put on my house, and you never ever told me one thing.
Okay, just for the record, did you ever contact the plumber to check your property's water usage, the pipings and at all?
I'm confused because the other 3 tenants and this tenant have never told me there was a problem. And when the other tenants get their water bill, they were paying their water bill.
Okay.
So you never had a plumber to check the property?
Sure, I had a plumber to check if they tell me they have an issue with anything in there.
On this particular unit, did you ever contact a plumber to do some work?
No, after the tenant moved in there, she moved in
Okay,
there.
that was the question, because we're only concerned about this particular tenant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you ever have the water meters tested by the water department?
The water company contacted me when they wanted to change the water the water meters in that duplex.
When was that? Recently, or when was that?
It was probably in September or October.
Of
22?
Of 21.
Of 21?
Okay, so you have...
The account history shows the ERT was replaced in February of 22. And Ms. Demps, is the property vacant now?
That apartment is vacant because I cannot even think about putting anybody in there until I get this straightened out.
And Mr. Payne, can you tell us where the bills were going and whether the there were tenant accounts or not?
Ms. Smith, can you show us the bill? Let's say one of the during the period, one of the higher spiked bills. Let's see which one it is. Give me a second. How about the bill of the December 21st, 2021?
I haven't got any bill about.
Okay, right now the city is getting information, so
Okay,
we want to hear, and we'd like you to hear it as well.
I'm sorry, I thought he was talking to me.
No, we're waiting for the city to provide information.
Okay.
You said the December 2021 bill?
December 21st, 2021.
Okay.
If you can share the screen from the bill so we can see the address where the bill sent to.
Ms. Demps, when did the tenant leave the property?
She left in I had sent her a written notice to leave December the 31st, and she left about maybe the 10th or the 15th of January.
So the bill was actually going to the property, is that correct?
Yeah, it's a little bit down. You see, you send it to Bertha Demps, and go into the address will be the exact address of the service address. So basically, it was sent to this property in dispute.
Okay.
You asked when was okay, are you talking about the mailing address while the...
Yeah, where did the bill send it to?
When?
Where?
During
was it sent?
No, during when the tenant had it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was there a tenant account, Ms. Smith?
Yes.
And what were the periods for that, I guess?
Give me 1 second.
Actually, I think there's a confusion. Ms. Stamp says this customer never opened a tenant account. So should be in her main account.
Ms. Smith is
We'd
saying,
like to see the address that the bill was going to.
well, we're seeing it. It was
No,
well, we're seeing the December.
that says the service address. At least what's up on the screen right now doesn't show what the
I think
billing address was.
The billing address should be on the bottom of the bill.
It's not showing on what I see on my screen. I don't know about the rest of it.
right. It's got
Ms. Smith, can you scroll down the bill to the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's also the service address.
Right, this is
Okay,
for,
that's what I wanted to see on there.
Right.
It's showing the customer name as being the owner and no other customer name, no other address is shown on this bill.
right, December 21st, 2021. So did you want to see where the bills were going when it came, when the account transferred back to her, or?
yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is what, that was the address when it transferred back to her.
And before that,
Okay. This was the account that the balance transfer came from. And this was the mailing address. So I don't know if she's familiar with that mailing address, but that's what we had on.
That's where the
I still see the same bill.
That's where the apartment is.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you can't, oh, give me 1 second, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, let me switch the screen.
That helps, thank you.
That's the same one.
I know, but before the numbers were
Okay.
covered by our faces.
Let me do it again, let me do it again.
Sharing your screen can be tricky.
Can you see this?
Yes.
708, okay. 7806, I'm sorry.
And what was the time period when it was going to this?
This was the account that that balance transfer came from. And I'm assuming this was the tenant account.
Huh.
Let's ask if she,
That's timing. He lived there before she did. You sent me, he was paying his bills, it was in his name. And when the water company told me that they didn't have her registered, she didn't have an account, and I was upset because I had never been notified until I saw this $8,000 bill and all these liens and things on here. You never notified me.
Mr. Peng?
Yeah, like Ms. Stamp said, like she has two tenants. One was the tenant, as she mentioned. This is the tenant that actually did as the lease, according to the lease, and transferred border bills to his tenant account. And I think what she think is that later there is another tenant didn't transfer the account according to the lease agreement. So I think we're really looking at the bill that registered under the owner's name during the disputed period.
Right, and the bill continued to go to the service address, is that correct?
Yes.
But in the owner's name.
But in the owner's name.
And so she never was
And there were
notified.
3 other tenants in the building, all of whom had tenant accounts, from what I understood earlier.
Yeah.
Appears so.
Any other information from the city?
Let me see if it's. I just have a few questions for Ms. Smith.
Okay, please address them.
Yes. Ms. Smith, do you review the petitioner account?
Yes.
According to your information, what type of property is this?
Multifamily.
The owner of the property is
Miss Bertha Demps.
Okay. When did the petitioner Bertha Dam purchase the property?
April 30th, 1987.
You know this information from?
Per Philadox.
Is there ever a discontinuous permit obtained for the property?
No.
Is there a vacant property license obtained for this property?
No.
Did the petitioner receive a balance transfer on or about December 12, 2019?
Yes.
Can you describe the balance, the amount of balance?
$1,132.83.
Is this from one of the previous tenants, Tierman Coulibaly?
Yes.
Okay, I have no further question.
Any questions from board members?
Yes, I just feel that.
I'm asking my board if they have any questions.
I'm sorry. I thought you was talking to me. I'm sorry.
No, I asked for board members.
Yeah, Mr. Smith, so you gave us the current account balance that's been adjusted is $4,352. Is that principal and penalty or just principal? How does that break down?
Give me 1 second to go back to it. Okay. The principal is $3,722.48. The penalty is $447.50. And the liens are $182.90.
And have any payments been made recently?
Yes, January 4th, 2023.
Okay, so regular payments are being made for the current bill, I assume, or?
Yeah, she's on zip pay, so regular payments are being made.
Okay, I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
Actually, on that issue,
well, no, I'm sorry. Let me correct that. So she made recent payments, December and January, but prior to that, the last payments.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Was in 2017. Go ahead.
Okay. We're talking about like what seems like two different tenants, and both tenants failed to pay their bill. We're talking about a 2019 balance transfer from Mr. Timoney or whoever. That person left about $1,000 balance, and that was transferred to the account. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Yes.
But then a new tenant came into the account, never set up a tenant account, and then also never paid the bill. So we're talking about two tenants who never paid the bill, not just one.
Yes. We talk about one tenant was balance transfer of about approximately 1,100 something. That's a Tierman Coulibaly. Yeah. And another tenant who never registered for the tenant account.
Which is why together those bills reached $8,000, including penalties and all of that stuff.
No.
What were the bills that the master's hearing adjusted? The $4,300, almost $4,400. Was that the
that was for the high usage?
That for the high usage? That
was for high usage because, as the petitioner testified, in sometime in September of 2021, all the way up until what looks like December, the tenant had extremely high usages during those periods of time. Okay. 15.7 CCFs and so on and so forth.
Okay. I just wanted to get the distinction clearly stated there because it seemed that it was coming across from the same general time periods, and that helps to clarify. Okay. Had the city finished with their presentation, or did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, on the spiking usages, city already questioned petitioner. The petitioner did not provide affirmative evidence of the city's usage recording was wrong. She didn't have a plumber check the property in question, and then never have the meter tested in the was the water department. So
we were just talking about what occurred at the master. Just what the master decision.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And let me see if
that's not correct what you were saying.
Did the city have anything else?
No.
Go ahead, Ms. Demps, please explain.
When Timon moved out and Trayana moved into the apartment, that's the $8,000 bill. prior to time of leaving 2 or 3 months before he left, he didn't pay this water bill. That's how that $1,000 water bill. Prior to that, he was paying his water bill. Now you say that because I didn't have a plumber to come in and check this and check that, there was no need when the girl was there because there was no problem.
Well, you didn't know there wasn't a problem because you didn't know it was or wasn't a problem because you didn't know what was happening.
So then really what you're saying, Ms. Stemps, is that your tenants used all that water.
What I'm saying is when she called,
they just didn't pay for it. They used all the water and they didn't pay for it.
When she called and said she had completely moved out after canceling 3 or 4 times. I went there. The water was running. I had no idea that she had not put anything in her name. I am saying,
okay, we understand
we've heard that.
We understand that. And unfortunately,
but the water company is trying to say that to me, the water company is trying to say, well, you might have had a problem before that. You didn't have.
No, they're not. They're just asking questions to try to determine
okay,
where the
thank
bill
you for clearing that up.
So, you know, and the problem is in the circumstances that your tenants used a lot of water and didn't pay the bill, and then they left. And now those bills are outstanding.
And the bills belong with the owner of the property.
And have to be taken care of. And that's where we are. So I think that the city, city has finished its presentation, Mr. Pang.
I just want to, since Ms. Stem just said, I just want to make sure, one last question. Did you or did you not request the city to have your meter tested?
She did not. She already testified.
Okay.
Can we go back?
Okay.
Let's step back.
Okay, hold tight.
And don't get this lady a heart attack.
All right, everyone is back.
Okay.
We're gonna
let me give the first part of it, and that is that we'd like to take this matter under advisement and have the city provide some additional information for us. And Melissa is going to outline for the record what it is we need to have during the time it's under advisement.
So when we read the numbers into the record, we only read the 2019 balance transfer and nothing after that. And so what we are going to be asking the water revenue to provide for us is a summary of what remains due and owing on this account. I understand that a prior hearing from the tax review board master level may have changed and adjusted some of the bill. And we want to know what currently is the bill. If the master decision has changed any of those numbers and what is before us. Because I don't believe it's just the 2019 balance transfer. I also believe it is the usage from the second tenant that Ms. Demps continues to refer to. So we want to make sure we understand the entire period from the 2019 balance transfer up until whatever occurred in 2021 or 2022. And we want to make sure we understand everything that happened. Ms. Demps, do you understand what we're asking for? We're asking for more information from the Water Revenue Bureau so we can have a clear understanding of what's going on, because this is a little bit murky to us. Yes, Mr. Peng.
So I just want to make sure. So you wanted the current balance?
Yes, I want a better understanding of the current balance and what is making up the current balance. And if the current balance was affected from the 8/22 decision of the hearing master. And then what is remaining, and if that includes the 2019 balance transfer.
How much time do you think you'll need to gather that information and present it to the board? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Do you need Peng? Mr. Peng?
Ms. Smith, can you provide this information, or?
You want me to send it to you and then you send it to them?
Sure.
Okay, 1 week.
Approximately what kind of time frame should we look for in terms of when we would get the information from you?
Okay.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just from
once we have that information, we may have additional questions, but if we can, we'll try to reach a decision that we can promulgate to the petitioner and to the city based on what we get and have already heard. Yes, Mr. Peng.
Just from what I understood as of now, I think the master hearing also touched a couple of usage spikes in around 2019, or not on top of my head, but during the disputed period.
I agree, but that wasn't what we were given as the numbers. And so what I want to understand is, how was the master decision broken down? Because the balance is closer to $4,379 and not the $1,132 that was put into the record. So what I want to understand is, what's the current balance? Is that all in our purview? And can we get a breakdown of what that balance and why it's the balance? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. All right. And then once we get that information, like the board chair said, we'll either schedule another hearing or we'll just read our decision for the record.
If we've gotten enough information and can easily reach an agreement, we could promulgate that afterwards without having another hearing. If we have questions, we certainly would want to have the people all together to deal with those.
Okay.
And so we'll look for information from the city within 2 weeks, and we'll spend some time discussing that and trying to reach a decision. And then we'll be in touch either to ask for another hearing date or to promulgate our written decision to the city and to the petitioner.
Yes, Ms.
George Matthews, I concur.
I wonder if everybody got a chance to read the reason for the appeal.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We have it. Thank you. We do.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Well,
we'll be back in touch with you with additional information as soon as we can.
Can I say one more thing? As the board, I'm guessing you're the board of the water company. I know that there are certain rules and things in place, but I'm up against another thing. Since I went to the water company and got this about that, another apartment that was paying their water bills on time, they have since, I guess, talked to this person and they're not paying their water bill.
We can't deal with something like that that's not before us right now. You might want to talk to the Water Revenue Bureau about things that might be done in cases like that, but you really need to talk to your tenant. I don't know if anyone else has anything to advise on that besides talking to your tenant.
Well, I thought maybe since you all were with the water company that maybe—
We are not with the water company, ma'am. We're just a tax review board. We review people who are disputing taxes. We are not with the water company. But perhaps you should consider changing—
Is it possible to take a suggestion back from a landlord?
Absolutely.
If tenants have to pay PICO, gas bill, television bill, light bill, why aren't they made to pay the water bill?
Because the water runs with the property, ma'am.
It's not something that we have any authority.
I know it, but
we understand.
We definitely do. All right.
Thank you for coming in. Do we have any other petitioners here?
No, we do not have. Well, first, can we concur on this matter?
Paula Weiss, I concur.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think George already did.
Yes, I agree.
And Nancy Camerdiner, I concur.
All right, it is 3:51. There is no other petitioners in the waiting room here at 100 South Broad Street or the virtual hearing room.
Okay, then item number 3 for Charlotta Taylor, last 4 digits of the docket 9938, property address 3052 North 5th Street. What action does the board want to— oh, let me ask a question here. Has there been any previous activity regarding this matter that we should be aware of before, and anything outstanding that we need to know about before we would decide what we're doing right now?
No.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
no, this
is number 3. I realize now I skipped over 1, but I'll go back to it.
This is the first listing before the board.
The first time it's seen before the board. Does the city have anything to add before we?
Yes. I was gonna say, this customer is already under TAP, and she is paying TAP, and the TAP debt forgiveness is starting to kick in every month. So I'm assuming if the customer keep paying TAP, eventually the water debt will be completely waived.
At this point, I would recommend a no action needed from the board.
Would you, is that an appropriate action from the city's perspective as well?
Yes, because the TAP wipes out the water debt if the payment was capped.
Paula Weiss, I concur.
George Matthews, I concur.
Nancy Camerdiner, I concur. Okay, so we'll be marking this as no action needed, perhaps with a notation that TAP is the reason for no action being needed at this time. I did skip over item number 1. Dwayne Williams, last 4 digits of the docket 0232, property address is 2961 North Ringgold Street. Does the city have any comments or information on that one?
No, the city have no contact with the petitioner, and the yeah. and no other comment.
Does our record show anything that we should take into account before marking this as denied for failure to appear?
No, this is the first listing before the board.
Okay, so denied for failure to appear?
I would concur with that.
George Matthews, I concur.
And Nancy Kammerdinger, I also concur. And the last item on our agenda is item number 6 for Sharice Jackson, last 4 digits of the docket 0148 at 3714 Pulaski Avenue. Does the city have anything to add on this matter?
Yes, the dispute no longer exists because there is a reverse balance transfer that basically is a credit transfer that, and plus a 15-year write-off and another reverse bill basically wiped the balance to 338 something credits. So there's the balance transfer that is the issue of that dispute no longer exists.
So what was the last part?
The balance is negative.
Oh, correct. Balance is negative.
Yes, nothing is due and owing, Nancy, on this matter.
So I would concur with the no action needed.
George Matthews, I concur.
And Nancy Kammerdinger, I concur. And is there anything else we've missed?
No.
Hearing none, this hearing is adjourned. Thank you all for your attention and your time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
See you Thursday.